Gquuuux had recently just ended its final episode, and because of how I am, I'm doing a review of the high grade of the main protag Gundam. The first version, as the open mouth with mini AT fields surrounding it, is only recently announced. So enough stalling, let's actually talk about this Eva Gundam hybrid. If this thing wasn't 1/44 scale, your eyes would almost immediately be drawn to it in a collection due to a bright color scheme and a unique, almost organic looking design. Spoilers for the final episode, the mouth doesn't help with that. Now comparing it next to some of my UC mobile suits, the drastic changes make this thing something you'd normally see from a regular alternate universe, like Witch from Mercury or I Am Blooded Orphans. I haven't built a high grade of one yet. Now the last two alternate UCs being Origins and Thunderbolt, being shown with the RX-78 and the Atlas right over here, still stick to the classic designs with some slight changes, like a bit of modernization, but this is a whole different beast. It comes out with an explosion of the classic red, blue and white, but sprinkles in a bit of orange instead of yellow, although most of it are stickers. Unfortunate but understandable. The legs now resemble hooves, like a horse, large thrusters. At the bottom offset feet, cylindrical canisters left exposed in the calves, with the struts looking a bit like muscles that are about to be torn apart. And I'm just talking about the legs. I could go on, but to keep things short, it's eye-catching, but I can see why some wouldn't like it, because look at these two. They don't look like they're part of the same franchise, but they are. The amount of accessories you get from something that costs 25 SGD is more than expected. The Siege Axe, or Heat Axe I think, that simply slides into the hand. It's a pretty good fit. You also got yourself the curved shield that attaches into this section right over here. It just, again, slides in. You can also position it whenever you want, depending on your preference. You get a very nice rifle with good part separation, because all these alternate colors are not stickers, but I think a bit of panel lining would bring out all these surface details out, because it does look a bit plain. And to attach it is, well, the usual: open the hand up and just slide it in, sandwiching it in between the two parts and reattaching it. You know the drill. It's the basic for all high grades. So here he is. So here it is holding the gun. Now the accessory that I really like from this thing are the two beam sabers that store at the back. These are not your normal beam sabers, because they actually have a handguard right over here that also emits the beam. And look at this beam effect. This thing looks, it glitters if you have it correctly under the light, and it reminds me of the energy sword from Halo. Was that what it's called? I haven't played Halo, so I don't know. And to attach it, it's well, it's this. It's nothing new. It works, so you can't really complain about it. And you just attach it back on, and there you go. I really like this beam saber just for the fact that it looks awesome. You also get some alternate relaxed hands, something that you don't really see that often, especially Witch from Mercury mobile suits. A fair amount of them never had any of these things, which was a bit of a shame. And finally, you get an alternate head for when the Omega Psychomu is deactivated. So that's an option, I guess. Now before I get to articulation proper, I do want to mention that even though this has a good amount of color separation, it's not perfect, as lots of the red lines use stickers and a fair amount of the orange on this thing is also stickers. If they didn't, it would most likely make this thing 40 SGD at a minimum, because, well, this is all one part, but just to have another separate orange piece just for this strip right over here and an extra one, it wouldn't really make that much sense on a high grade, because if you're gonna do that, you might as well make it a real grade. I also lost some of them. Like, as you can see, there's supposed to be another orange line right over here, but that got lost somehow after I stuck it on. Yeah, I lost some of the stickers either while or after I applied them. A problem on my end. Doesn't ruin the build, but it's something to note. Like, apart from these on the legs, there's supposed to be some red lines on these struts, but I didn't bother with them because I find that this looks fine already. Didn't need them. Now let's actually get to the posability itself. The range of the head is an unrestricted full 360 rotation with lots of up, because there are two joints being used, and down, same thing as up, with lots of side tilting. The arms have full rotation with a butterfly joint movement. It goes out this much with a elbow swivel and a single jointed bend, but smart design. These grooves right over here give it more than 90 degrees. Neat to see, that's for sure. A very impressive ab crunch. Look at that. You get a decent arc as well. Oh, but I also like that when you have the ab crunch, separated parts to show there's something inside, just like in Evangelion. Because, you know, the designer who did this also did the rebuild. You also get some side motion, a waist swivel, the legs out and back this much, a thigh swivel, a single jointed knee with a bend that rivals ones with double joints, just like the one on the elbow. Same design, really cool. The split is pretty good. Feet have a wide range of front and back pivot. They can also swivel if you desire, and can pivot this much, which is decent, but you can eke it out a bit more via tilting. Factor in the design itself, and composing this thing is an enjoyable experience. It just looks natural in a lot of the poses you put it in. It doesn't feel like it's stressing itself. It looks correct, I should say. Maybe not. Now, I did forget to mention that there's also a core fighter gimmick. Just unplug the backpack, grab this thing right over here that isn't color accurate, but I don't know how many people are that interested in it, so yeah, I understand why. Just plug it in and there you go, the core fighter of the Gquuuux. Very G Gundam in terms of how it enters and detaches. Either way, I personally enjoyed this kit. Drastically different compared to what we're used to, fun to pose, inexpensive, lots of stuff that comes with it. Very nice. If you want a build that differs from the norm or looks good in any poses you put it in, I would recommend this. Even without the stickers, the amount of color separation it already has, I still think would look good. Although that is if you're fine with or like this design, because it's very, very drastic. Yeah, that's all I have for this thing. I hope this was useful and to see you next time. Bye.